Hey, Algebra 2 kids. So I promised a couple movies. This will be the first one. I'm going to go ahead and solve, through factoring, these two equations. So I'm going to start with this one. In order to solve quadratic, we have to have it set to 0. So I'm going to start by subtracting 15 on both sides here. Alright, so that's going to give us x squared plus 2x minus 15 equals 0. Alright, so from there, we're looking at the factors for x squared and for negative 15. So here, x times x gives us x squared. So that's going to be the start of our answer here, because x times x, x squared. Now I'm looking at factors of 15, negative 15, that will add up to 2. Alright, so for me, we can just go off to the margin over here. If I'm doing factors of negative 15, that's going to be negative 5 times 3. When you add those together, you get negative 2. If we switch the negative, right, we could do, what, 5 and negative 3 gives us negative 15. And then 5 minus 3 gives us 2, which is what we're looking for here. Alright? So factors of negative 15, negative 5 and 3, that adds up to negative 2, so that doesn't help us here. But 5 minus 3, because 5 times negative 3 gives us that negative 15, 5 minus 3 is 2, which sets us up with that coefficient there. So what I'm going to do then is put in the plus 5 and the minus 3, because if you FOIL that through, distribute this x through, distribute the 5 through, what you'll end up getting when you simplify is right back up to this guy. Okay? Now we set each of these equal to 0. And therefore x would be negative 5 and x would equal 3, and that would be the solution to that quadratic. Now let's go over here. Next one, a little bit trickier. We have 2x squared. We'll have to subtract the x over, subtract the 3 over, and again we have to set it equal to 0. Okay, and now we break it up. 2x and x will give us 2x squared. And now we're looking at this negative 3. So what we want to do here, because we have a 2 as our first coefficient there in that first term, that plays a part now. So we write our factors of negative 3. We have negative 3 and 1, and then we could do, what, 3 and negative 1. Alright? But we have this 2. We have to multiply that in here. Alright, so you pick one of these. So we can multiply the negative 3 by 2. That gives us negative 6. Plus 1 is negative 5. Well, that doesn't work because we need a negative 1 here. So what if we tried the 2 here? And we did negative 3 times 1 times 2. Well, 1 times 2 is 2. So negative 3 plus 2 gives us that negative 1 here. So we want to do 2 times 1. 2 times 1, because remember we distribute this here, and then multiply, and then we have the negative 3. Okay, so we ended up not using this one because it wasn't going to work for us. So we do 2x times x gives us the 2x squared. 2x times 1 gives us that 2x. Negative 3 times x gives us that negative 3x. And negative 3 times 1 gives us that negative 3. And then when you simplify that, we get back up to our negative x. So we can see just by checking it, using FOIL to check it, that we are correct. So we can go ahead and erase this now, because now we have to further solve this. It gives us 2x minus 3 equals 0, and x plus 1 equals 0. Here x is going to equal negative 1. This one we'll have to add 3 to both sides. 2x equals 3, divide by 2, so that x equals 3/2. And those would be the two answers to that last quadratic. Alright guys, I hope that helps, just watching me go through a couple of those. And you do have a quiz tomorrow, so I hope this helps. Good luck. Have a good night.